heard my granny talking to her friend, our next door neighbor. As she cried, I felt a pain. Her grandson had been arraigned. He was involved in a recent murder. So I was listening intently to what my granny was telling. She watch a party cup of tea. Do not despair, typical grandmother. Just you keep the candle burning, say a little prayer. God does never give us more than we can bear. So I woke up this morning, find myself singing this song. Keep the candles burning. In all these crimes and madness, Papa God will choose to guide us. Keep the candles burning. Keep the candles, keep the candles burning. So there'll be no more murder and suicide. We put our petty differences aside. Boy, a new direction for the nation to the next millennium. So tell me, do you believe in miracles? Then light a candle. Idiotic, we put on Nick no. Keep the candles burning. La 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 la. Well, Granny's so full of faith, her trust in God you cannot shake. And to her, he is the greatest of all the greats. Not even the volcano, she don't even afraid it blow. She said she lived here long enough to know. We lived through all kinds of disaster. We lost a lovely Layu River. Though each way they blow again and again, yet we've survived so many hurricanes. Outside forces never control we. We stand proud even in poverty. There is no country that is more resilient than we. Oh, Lord. So I woke up this morning, found myself singing this song. Keep the candles burning, that will overcome this crisis and restore security and peace. Keep the candles burning. Keep the candles burning. So we'll plan in case of emergency, to minimize loss of life and property. Oh, a new direction for the nation to the next millennium. So tell me if you believe in miracles, then light a candle. Idiotic, we put on Nick no. Keep the candles burning. La 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 la. Our society has changed. Our own children acting so strange. Parents today don't parent again. Granny blame it on migration, rampant public corruption and immoral nonsense shown on television. She blame Mappin for not caring and government for not censoring. It's getting worse as I getting old. Now the police playing a double role. She said churches must stop politicking, preachers practice what they preaching, and help all parents to save their children's souls. Oh Lord. Everywhere I went this morning, I found myself singing this song. Keep the candles burning for the children who businessmen in our country would sell their humanity for big money. No, a new direction for the nation in the next millennium. So tell me if you believe in miracles, then light a candle with the tip we ever paid. Keep the candles burning. This is for you, my children. So if you love this country, pray, pray. If you want banana to stay, maybe we can save the children today. I know a solution sounds simple. If you don't believe it's true, then we attend in church for the wrong reason. Now is the time for us to be strong. Let us not put our country down. We know the road has been hard and long, but there's no struggle we can't overcome. So now as we all celebrate the 21st birthday of our state, I bring this song to you. You never know what a prayer can do. Oh, Lord. So here I am this evening, singing this very simple song. Keep the candles burning in the midst of all this madness, in this whole wide world around us. Keep the candles burning. Keep the candles burning. So we'll rise up of petty jealousy, create a better world for you and me. Oh, a new direction for the nation to the next millennium. So tell me, do you believe in miracles? Then light a candle with the anti-prayer put on me. Keep the candles burning. Bricks again. This is for you. Lila la lila la lila la lila la boy.
If ever been to a uni event before, the readers started late, but we asked for 5 more minutes, and so she's in with the Induction in the chamber, just to give us some Thank you, everyone.
Welcome. It's like 30. Wait, I was saying to put the mics.
605, 604.
Yes, I can put it on.
Yeah.
And then I'll rest it on the phone.
But the little camera still.
Rest this
Because already here. Could have twist detriment, yeah. And it could have affected his position as well too. But even though here for working, he can strong up on it. That's what the work comes to you after the year. Yeah. Well, semis we should be better shape semis because the whole thing was a rush. I mean, just moving the stage for one person to the other. Just moving the stage the screen man always tell me that you might have some problems. The lighting, it was wrong. Carnival of Pass, the opening was the Saturday. I passed on the Monday and I didn't move here. I think it started to move probably by Wednesday or so they started to move. Either not he that moving the stage is responsible for the screens and lights, or the other guy is responsible for the stage. So that is what we end up with. But that stage was supposed to be moved long before the opening of Carnival because we had the meeting long before I said we came out from KFC and the meeting has to decide whether we want to keep the stage over there or whether the decision. It's better, it's much better than it is. Much better than it is. Yeah, man. For everything. Everything is much better. Much better. It gives you more room for things and you have to choose crowd. It was supposed to move it, but they left it there. And when I watch it for
Watch it. La 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 la. La 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 boy. La 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 la. Late yesterday evening, I heard my granny talking to her friend, our next door neighbor. As she cried, I felt a bed. Her grandson had been arraigned. He was involved in a recent murder. So I was listening intently to what my granny was telling. She watch a take up a tea. Do not despair, typical grandmother. Just you keep the candle burning. Say a little prayer. God does never give us more than we can bear. So I woke up this morning, find myself singing this.
Isle of beauty, isle of splendor, isle to all so sweet and fair. All must surely gaze in wonder at thy gifts so rich and rare. Rivers, valleys, hills, and mountains, all these gifts we do extol. Healthy land so like all fountains, giving cheer that warms the soul. Dominica, God hath blessed thee with a clime benign and bright, pastures green and flowers of beauty, filling all with pure delight. and a people strong and healthy, full of godly reverent fear. May we ever seek to praise thee for this gift so rich and rare. Come ye forward, sons and daughters of this gem beyond compare. Strive for honor, sons and daughters, do the right, be firm, be fair. Toil with hearts and hands and voices, we must prosper, sound the call, in which everyone rejoices, all for each and each for all.
Please remain standing for the procession of the inductees. I now call on Miss Jody Johnson, flautist, to lead us in the musical invocation. Jody. Her Excellency, Mrs. Sylvanie Burton and Mr. Burton, Dr. Francis Sevre, Principal and Pro-Vice Chancellor of UWI Global Campus, and the management and staff of UWI Global Campus in Dominica, Mr. Alex Bruno, Chair of the Dominica Calypso Hall of Fame, Ms. Trudy Christian, Officer in charge of the Dominica State College and the staff of the Dominica State College, representatives of key partners of the Dominica Calypso Hall of Fame induction ceremony, Fort Young Hotel, the Signman, Dominica Calypso Association, the Dominica State College, and UWI. Mr. Urson Matthew, the Chief Cultural Officer and our keynote speaker for this evening, Miss Adicia Burton, Miss Dominica 2023. I've not yet seen Trilogy. I don't know if he's coming yet, but we're expecting him, who is our Calypso Monarch. The Hall of Fame inductees for 2024, family members and friends of the inductees, media representatives, Calypso lovers all, good evening, everyone. My name is Dr. Kimon Joseph. I'm head at UWI Global Campus in Dominica, and I will be your mistress of ceremonies, is that what they call us when we're women? I will be your MC for this evening's proceedings. I would like to thank Mr. Daryl Bob, who sang the national anthem for us, as well as Miss Jody Johnson, our flautist, who did the musical invocation. This is the 5th installment of the induction ceremony. The induction ceremony takes place every 4 years, and it started in 2008. And I joined the UWI in 2011, and so I have been on the team since second induction in 2012, and it has truly been a pleasure working with the partners and the rest of the committee to bring this wonderful event to light every 4 years. This evening, we are going to be welcomed to the Fort Young Hotel by Mrs. Samantha Leta, who is the Group Sales, Marketing and Communications Manager at Fort Young Hotel and Dive Resort. Please welcome Mrs. Leta.
Good evening to Her Excellency Mrs. Sylvanie Burton, President of the Commonwealth of Dominica, and Mr. Burton, Dr. Francis Sevre, Principal and Pro-Vice Chancellor, UE Global Campus, and of course the management and staff of the UE Global Campus Dominica, Dr. Kimon Joseph, Head of the UE Global Campus in Dominica, Mr. Alex Powell Bruno, Chair of the Dominica Calypso Hall of Fame, Ms. Trudy Christian, Officer in charge at the Dominica State College, and of course the staff at the Dominica State College, key representatives of partners of the Dominica Calypso Hall of Fame, the Signman, the Dominica Calypso Association, the Dominica State College, and of course the UE Global Campus, Mr. Urson Matthew, Chief Cultural Officer and our keynote speaker this evening, Ms. Adicia Burton, Miss Dominica 2023, and soon to arrive, Mr. Gael John Baptist Trilogy, our Calypso Monarch of 2023. A special welcome to the Hall of Fame inductees for 2024 and to your family and friends, the media representatives and the Calypso enthusiasts here this evening, and of course those listening via the media platforms. It is with immense pleasure and excitement that I welcome you to the Calypso Hall of Fame Awards 2024, hosted right here at the Fort Young Hotel and Dive Resort. Tonight, we embark on a journey to honor and celebrate the icons who have shaped and continue to elevate the world of Calypso. The Dominica Calypso Hall of Fame, as Dr. Joseph stated, started in 2008, and the induction ceremony happens every 4 years as a means of celebrating the contributions of performers, managers, musicians, producers, promoters, judges, and Calypso enthusiasts who have provided meaningful service to the art form. This 2024 induction will be the 5th installment. And we say congratulations to the inductees for this year. TBS Radio, Mr. McCarthy Mark Marie, Mr. Freddie Nicholas, Mr. Cornell Fingers Philip, Mr. Ken Robinson, and Mr. Derek the Hunter St. Rose. Let's give them a round of applause. The induction ceremony continues to be a collaborative effort of the Dominica Calypso Hall of Fame, the Dominica State College, and the University of the West Indies Global Campus, with full endorsement of the Dominica Calypso Association. And just to point out, the Signman and the Fort Young Hotel have been from inception corporate partners of this initiative. The Fort Young Hotel provides the perfect backdrop for this occasion, as it has always been our mandate here to promote all forms of arts and culture in Dominica. For 2024, the Fort Young Hotel will be ensuring that we have a Calypso feel and vibe on the minds of all our patrons, as we will be hosting an event starting this Thursday at the Marquee Bar and Lounge from 5 p.m. The event, Fort Fusion, is open to the public, it's free to the public, and will be featuring Calypsonians and Calypso music as our contribution to the Real Mass 2024. This is our way to ensure that this genre of music is enjoyed by our guests and our local patrons. As we immerse ourselves in the rhythm and charm of Calypso, I want to pay homage to those gone before us who have played some parts in our Calypso history. So now I wish to take a brief moment of silence to honor one of our Dominican greats, Ferdinand Frampton, who was an avid lover of Calypso and whose support went way beyond the sponsorship initiatives, but also in the promotion of this art form. Thank you. I know Ferdinand is looking down and really enjoying the celebrations here this evening. So may this evening continue to be a celebration of the enduring legacy of our Calypso. Congratulations again to the 2024 inductees to the Calypso Hall of Fame. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Lisa. It is an honor and a pleasure to be back in Fort Young. I said so last year in December. It had been a while since we had not been in Fort Young, and I really am enjoying being back, I must tell you. Fort Young had been our partner and friend for many years, and so we had waited, as the Catholics say, in joyful hope to return to Fort Young Hotel. And here we are, the second time in 6 or 8 weeks, yes. And we'll be back many times more, praise God. So thank you very much for welcoming all of us to the Fort Young Hotel. And now we will have some endorsement remarks from some of the partners of the Dominica Calypso Hall of Fame induction ceremony. The first set of endorsement remarks will come from Ms. Ashma McDougall, who is the Director of Student Services at the Dominica State College. The Dominica State College has been a partner in this venture from the very beginning. Please welcome Ms. McDougall.
Thank you very much, Dr. Joseph, and good evening to Her Excellency, Mrs. Sylvanie Burton, President of the Commonwealth of Dominica, and Mr. Burton, Dr. Francis Sevre, Principal and Pro-Vice Chancellor of UE Global Campus, and to the management and staff of UE Global Campus Dominica, to Dr. Kimon Joseph, who is the head of the UE Global Campus Dominica, Mr. Alex Bruno, who is the chair of the Dominica Calypso Kaiso Hall of Fame, Ms. Trudy Christian, who is our officer in charge at the Dominica State College, and to as well some of our student volunteers who are here with us here from the Dominica State College, Representatives of key partners of the Dominica Calypso Hall of Fame, including the Fortune Hotel, the Signman, Dominica Calypso Association, and UE Global Campus. Mr. Ulson Matthew, who is the Chief Cultural Officer and Keynote Speaker. Ms. Adicia Burton, who is Miss Dominica 2023, and Mr. Gael Trilogy John Baptist, who is the Calypso Monarch for 2023. Hall of Fame inductees for 2024, family members and friends of the inductees, media representatives, and to the Calypso enthusiasts, the lovers here in Dominica, listening live on all our social media platforms. Good evening and welcome. My name is Ashma McDougall, as Dr. Joseph introduced me as, and I am the Director of Student Activities at the Dominica State College. And I am very happy to be at such a distinctive ceremonious event this evening. I must say congratulations to all of the inductees again, as Ms. Samantha Later had extended congratulatory remarks before. The Dominica Calypso Hall of Fame, in essence, continues to be a groundbreaking venture supporting the continuity of rich culture, where the continuation of tradition, of the arts innovated by some of the most phenomenal artists have left their legacies and will continue to leave legacies. And the Dominica State College recognizes the bequest value in the informational and the recreational needs of our future generations' cultural appetites. And this validates why the Dominica State College remains committed to the Dominica Calypso Hall of Fame. As an academic institution, DSE recognizes the importance of documentation, and within our society, the importance of highlighting the works of many of these great artists for posterity. Tonight, the DSE campus community wishes to congratulate the inductees upon which meritorious achievements are being bestowed, and we also wish to commend our partner institutions, UE Global Campus and Signman Limited, and of course, brainchild Mr. Alex Bruno, for the continued further efforts in seeing this event materialized. For us, it is critical to explore other mechanisms to expose the works and the art of these inductees to our student population at Dominica State College, and as well to our campus benefactors by wider extension. And therefore, over the next year, our institution will remain dedicated to investigating other means by which greater spotlight can be placed on the inductees through our platform and to our audience. So we hope that we can collaborate with many of you, whether it be perhaps a short course, whether it be perhaps a lecture. We recognize that while documentation is critical for posterity, introducing younger generations to the art, which we aim to preserve, can be more widely introduced to them through unique initiatives. We look forward to the continued partnership and the collaborative efforts to maintain the execution of this event, but importantly, to bridging more youth to recognizing the importance of celebrating the value of the preservation of the art form. I wish to again congratulate all of you this evening who have made significant contributions and will continue making contributions to elevating the platform, and look forward to establishing more unique collaborations with you in an effort to expand the scope of your recognition beyond tonight's ceremonial induction. Congratulations once again, and thank you for your continued contributions to our culture.
Thank you very much, Ms. McDougall. It really is an honor for UWI to be able to work with the Dominica State College on this venture, and we are really trusting, and Ms. Trudy Christian is in the room, that we'll be able to do many more together. It is time for us to work as friends again, Trudy. So we are really looking forward to greater collaboration in this new era, and so we are very grateful for the opportunity. And at the start of the year, we're looking forward to a wonderful 2024. Right, Dr. Casimir? Exactly. All right. Our next set of endorsement remarks will come from Mr. Davidson, the Observer Victor, who is the president of the Dominica Calypso Association. Please welcome to the microphone, Mr. Observer.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. It's not me that said it, but Sour, who is a Calypsonian, said it, that protocol have been established.
But I would still want to at least take the opportunity to at least recognize the president of the Commonwealth of Dominica. It's my first time being in a function having a female president of Dominica, especially a distinguished individual who have served Dominica with distinction before becoming the president. It's always nice to have persons who have done exceptional work can now be elevated to the highest office. No, I smart. You think I stupid? I say that for me to lobby. For me to lobby. Remember, she's the head. So if I talk nice, she can tell the PM, we need a little assistance down there, you know? And he'll listen to her because she's the head. Yeah. But Calypso is something I want to, when I was asked to give endorsement remarks, I say, well, I mean, an endorsement remarks from the Calypso Association standpoint to the Dominica Calypso Hall of Fame is something that can be done very easily. I can just come and just say we endorse it because the people of the committee who is chaired by Mr. Alex Bruno knows that the Calypso Association will endorse whatever they are doing with regards to Calypso. So it's already something that doesn't even have to be spoken. Why I say, well, when things are done, you still want to give a little background as to how you came about to be part of something like this, and what is the significance of Dominica Calypso Association being asked to give an endorsement. The Calypso from our records began way in the 50s, in the early 50s, but the official Calypso competition was held in 1957. That's the time we had our first Calypso king. At the time, it was men alone that was taking part, just a little history. So we had a king. In recent times, we had both the men and the women competing together. So we changed the title to monarch. And then the Calypso was not run by Calypsonians. It was run by other organizations, other persons who was in charge of Carnival at the time. But in 1978, the Calypsonians felt that they need to do something to take Calypso into their own destiny and chart the way forward for Calypsonians. So they went ahead and to form the Dominica Calypso Association in 1978. So since 1978 to now, the Dominica Calypso Association has been operating on its own, independent of every organization, government included. Now, we had a constitution was formed, and there were a number of different articles under the Memorandum of Association. And one of the main articles was that the Calypso Association was formed to promote Calypso and Calypsonians in Dominica, particularly during the carnival season, where 4 events will be held under the control of the Calypso Association, which is the elimination, the quarterfinals, the semifinals, and the Grand Calypso finals. But one of the articles stated that one of the responsibilities of the Calypso Association is to also undertake research, which is very critical in the sustenance of everything, because when you're doing something now, it is important to have it documented so that other persons coming after can have reference, so that they could know what was then, what they should be doing now, and how they can move forward so that other generations can benefit from what they have made. And one of the articles stated that for the Calypso Association to undertake research, but not just on its own, but the operative word was to collaborate with other organizations. Because even the persons with their wisdom in putting the constitution together at the time, they realized that Calypso Association would not be able to do everything for Calypso on its own, because we would not be operating in a vacuum, isolated from the rest of the society. And also realizing that Calypso is a cultural activity, meaning that you need other persons to come on board to assist in the preservation, the development, and the sustenance of the art form. And there is where the Calypso Association feel very honored and feel very fitted to be able to be asked to give endorsement remarks. So we appreciate the opportunity to give the endorsement remarks from the Dominica Calypso Association standpoint. Whatever it is done for Calypso, to the upliftment of Calypso and Calypsonians, we always endorse it. We are encouraged by it. We have always been encouraged by Alex Bruno, because Alex Bruno served on the executive together with me and other persons a few years ago, and then he migrated. But he was always an innovative person. Alex Bruno is one of the persons, and I want to pause to give him a round of applause. Alex Bruno is a gem that we don't recognize. We know he's there, we know he exited, but if you follow, and I've been following Alex Bruno since he started, when he came and started to work at Kyrie FM, that was years ago. I keep following Alex Bruno and working with him in Calypso business, and he has always been an innovative person. He has broken grounds in a lot of areas where people don't dare tread. So he's that type of person, and we must always recognize him and appreciate him for his work. And we feel very honored and to be there this afternoon and to celebrate with the persons who are receiving the award today. Each of the individuals who are there, whether you are just an individual or an institution, they are well placed, and it is well deserving, because they have done exceptional work for the Calypso art form to bring it where it is today. I'm very happy that persons like this did enough work so that I can be the president of the Dominica Calypso Association and stand proudly here to address you and to address them. I take my hats off to you guys for trailing to be the trailblazers in the business for us, for persons like me, and that is why I will do everything to continue doing what I have to do, so persons like Trilogy 10, 15 years from now can stand here as the president of Calypso Association, maybe not the monarch at the time, but the president, and say the same thing, because I might be sitting in that chair. All right? So thank you very much. It's my pleasure. Enjoy the ceremony, and once again, congratulations to all the inductees and to Alex Bruno and his team.
Thank you very much, Observer. So somebody said to me a few days ago, what do you know about Calypso? What do you know about Calypso? I said, well, I could tell you a few things that we do, and we do know about Calypso. For those who do not know, the University of the West Indies, as an academic institution, has been involved in the preservation and research work in the field of Calypso for a while. Our principal served as a judge for many years in the Dominica Calypso competitions. We have had several lectures, we have had several panel discussions in association with the Dominica Calypso Association and also in association with DBS Radio on Calypso. Last year, we pursued a venture with the Dominica Calypso Association, where we had Calypso Day, and we had Mighty Gabi coming to do a lecture on Calypso. Last year, we worked with King Trilogy and his partner, Shelley, who engaged in a workshop called Put Pen to Paper, where youngsters were able to come to the UWI for almost a month, I think, and they did several workshops and training programs on songwriting, which was excellent. So we do know a bit at UE about Calypso, and we continue to know and we continue to grow. Being part of this induction ceremony and putting the ceremony together every 4 years has taught me a lot, you know, just as a person individually, and that rich history of Calypso. Calypso is a beautiful thing, and I thank the Dominica Calypso Association for the work that they've been doing in ensuring that it is preserved and promoted. And speaking of putting pen to paper, King Trilogy is here with us this evening, and so we're going to take a break from the talking for a while and entertain a musical interlude by King Trilogy. Put your hands together for me, please.
Thank you very much. My time. Good night. When I guess protocol has already been established, good night to everybody. Listen to me. That is the most nervous I have ever been, in my life doing a performance. I'm the president in the house. We have some, prestigious people. We have the inductees there. Congratulations to all of you guys. And what's the one you want? The new one? You want this? Alright, well, you have to help me sing because I really playback setup. So you have to help me sing. Alright, but you know this song nasty business, right? So you know how to have to sing. Real nasty business. Alright? Let's go. Look business. Fire, boom! What's my name? When I win the crowd and my name go down inside of the street room, I had self-doubt when I don't vote and say it was just a fluke. She claimed that we your boys have no place in ISO sanctuary because lyrically we are so nasty and continually disgrace the country. And while some may agree, can we really entirely blame rich energy or even Suki for litigating society? When the leaders on our back up, in crap and we still clap, that is nasty business. Only a lay on one, but have to shake your pampalam, that is nasty business. When people say don't do that, but that's not in your contract, that is nasty business. You're blocking your hustle, if you don't work your little muscle, that is nasty business. When the child you sent to study might turn into a devotee, well, them nasty business right there, I'm glad to see. Now we need visa to go London, is it because of what that you saw? Wake me up, cause I must be dreaming. Way, laugh we. Look business. Fire, boom. Mr. Real, Malu. That is it. Look business. Again, what's my name? The introspection and true conversation will reveal so much nastiness. One election will show that the common man was really an agent of greediness. We are forced to live in the dark because of misplaced priorities. Utility companies and government agencies bringing this poor country right up to its knees. Who will lead that virtuous song? We need a champion to turn us around. Not one that will cut on the comments and join them on stage for fest. We'll go sing festival, but don't mix in hospital. That is nasty business. Choking your dirty hand in public credit union. That is nasty business. 8 AM to PM, yet we can enter your realm. That is nasty business. We put the boat on the sea, or we hop the plane just to flee. That is nasty business. The economy not gripping, while the Pomale were crying. On them nasty business right there, man, is so glaring. No look that real is like, is it because of energy lines? Wake me up, sing with me. Wake me up, cause I must be dreaming. Oh, laugh way. Hey. Ready? Fire, 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 boom! Look business. That is it. Home stretch. Last verse. What's my name? We cannot be soft on men of the cloth who forsake their integrity. Once the church is lost, the ultimate cost is the erosion of morality. From parents to teachers at school and officers who enforce the rules. We cannot be slack. Let us face the fact that our young minds are under attack. No more games with the enemy. We need to safeguard our family. If good morals and values we choose, then nasty business we lose. No spiritual culture and priests cannot bless man and man. That is nasty business. Parents don't keep your child because when you send them wild, that is nasty business. Police don't break the law, sell drugs and go back door, cause that is nasty business. Bad teachers get no pass when you cross outside the class, cause that is nasty business. So do not try to ignore and say God in front of your door. When all of us see it, nasty business for sure. Look around the business close, but it's nice I'm not getting close. Please wake up. Everybody wake up and stop shooting Wayne. Thank you very much.
Fire, fire, boom! Thank you very much, Gael. Thank you very much for that wonderful, wonderful rendition. And now we have endorsement remarks from the Signman, one of the partners who have been with the Dominica Calypso Hall of Fame from its inception. I invite Mr. Ibrahim Brohim to come and give some endorsement remarks. Make him feel welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Timon Joseph. I don't think we want to hear speeches after such a performance by Trilogy. So we can go straight to the inductees. Okay. A pleasant evening to Her Excellency, Mr. Sylvain Burton, President of the Commonwealth of Dominica, and Mr. Burton. Let me just briefly say that it has been a great pleasure knowing Mrs. Burton, because before she became President, we worked very hard together in a committee for hiking trails in Dominica. So I'm hoping that, just like Observer, she can use her office to improve and get things done on the trails. Thank you. Dr. Francis O'Savre, Principal and Pro Vice Chancellor, UWI, Global Campus and Management and Staff of UWI Global Campus Dominica. Dr. Kimon Joseph, Head UWI Global Campus Dominica. Mr. Alex Bruno, what can I say? My good friend from many years ago, and the reasons why I'm right here. Chair, Dominica Calypso Hall of Fame. Ms. Trudy Christian, Officer in Charge, Dominica State College, and staff of Dominica State College. Representatives of key partners of the Dominica Calypso Hall of Fame, the Fort Young Hotel, Dominica Calypso Association, Dominica State College, UWI Global Campus. Mr. Wilson Matthew, Chief Cultural Officer and Keynote Speaker. Reigning Carnival Queen, Ms. Adicia Burton, and reigning Calypso King, Mr. Gail Triller G. John Baptist. Hall of Fame inductees for 2024, family members and friends of inductees, the media, representatives, Calypso enthusiasts. I do not think that there's much for me to say again, because the speakers before me have said a lot. And for me to be saying to be all over it would be just, in my opinion, very repetitious. But there's a few things I can add. And one of the things I'd like to say is that I want to thank very much Mr. Alex Bruno, because our collaboration did not start with this Hall of Fame. It started way before in his days as a Calypsonian. Whenever he was at Kyrie doing work, we would collaborate, we would do things. He would call upon me, and we do many stuff. And when he approached me for us to start off this event, I did not hesitate. Because through my business, I've always wanted to, and because of my love for music and the art form, be it Calypso, be it Kadas music, well, especially Kadas music, I've always seen it fit to support persons who want to recognize the people who have contributed to the art form. Awarding an award, a plaque may not sound like much, but the mere fact is that we can really recognize and touch a person's heart to show them that we truly appreciate what they have given us in the past. Because when I look at it, the amount of work that they have done, and in comparison to a plaque, is chalk and cheese. The values of their work has no monetary value to it. And so I always see it fit that when Alex spoke to me, that I'll enjoy and I really love contributing and recognizing persons while they are alive. I don't think that we want to see that tomorrow when they're gone. I mean, we know that things happen, but at the end of the day, it gives me great pleasure to be part of this function and part from the inception from 2008. So I want to say congratulations to all the inductees. Continue doing your hard work. One way or another, you get your blessings from the Lord above and from persons on this earth. I also want to add that this is not the first function that I have been involved in terms of recognizing persons and especially musicians. Together with, I'll just briefly say that, together with Leroy Wadix-Charles and Creole Heartbeat, we have started some years ago in recognizing our Kadas icons. And as many persons will know, at the Bayfront, next to the ferry terminal, we collaborated in putting up these billboards of paintings of our icons. Because I've always, just like the Calypsonians and our inductees, these gentlemen, these musicians from, 50 years ago, gave us a lot of music that you can enjoy today. And as a matter of fact, two of the present inductees, if I may go as far as saying it, Fred Nicholas and Cornell Fingers Phillips, sorry, my apologies, have been recognized. And also in the crowd, maybe we can just stand up quickly. Andrew Bellany Bird at the back, Ophelia Murray at the front. Trust me, if you are a lover of Kadas music, you will understand and realize what work these two persons have done for the past 50 years. It's my pleasure to congratulate the inductees, as I said, and I would like to also thank once again Alex Bruno and his team for affording me and my business the opportunity to be part of this function this evening, and as we all say, God willing, in the future to come. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ibrahim Rohim. We'll now have endorsement remarks from the UWI Global Campus, and to do that for us will be Dr. Barry Casimir, who is Program Officer. Barry, a clap, please.
Excellency, Mrs. Sylvanie Burton, President of the Commonwealth of Dominica, and Mr. Burton, Dr. Francis O. Severin, Principal and Pro-Vice Chancellor, UWI Global Campus, and management and staff of the UWI Global Campus, Dominica. Dr. Kimon Joseph, Head, UWI Global Campus, Dominica. Mr. Alex Bruno, Chair, Dominica Calypso Hall of Fame. Ms. Trudy Christian, Officer in Charge, Dominica State College, and staff of the Dominica State College.
representatives of key partners of the Dominica Calypso Hall of Fame, the Fortune Hotel, the Signman, Dominica Calypso Association, Dominica State College, UE Global Campus, Mr. Elson Matthew, Chief Cultural Officer and Keynote Speaker, Ms. Adisa Burton, Miss Dominica 2023, and Mr. Gael Trilogy John Baptist, Calypso Monarch 2023, Hall of Fame inductees for 2024, family members and friends of inductees, media representatives, Calypso enthusiasts, good evening. It gives me great pleasure to remark on the 5th Hall of Fame induction ceremony. I'm honored to be in the company of such committed legends of musicians, music producers, and promoters as we show our appreciation of their generous contributions to the success of Calypso as an art form in our nation. The legacies of race, class, and gender in Calypso still mean that the ongoing transformation of our country's Calypso is not an easy one. Divisions along the lines of race, class, and gender entrenched within society will take a long time to be ironed out. At the same time, the integration of more women into Calypso allows us to forge a more diverse identity within Calypso which better mirrors our society. I put it to you that what brings us here this evening, what signifies artists, fans, and Calypso enthusiasts and sponsors alike, is the idea that we can be one confident nation symbolized by our Calypso heritage. Gone are the days when the relationship between the Calypso Association and sponsor from the government or private sector could be viewed as one as mere subsidy and patronage. It is no longer adequate to see the artists as armed with a begging bowl or with a cap in hand seeking funds from a wealthy funder. We must move beyond this welfareist mentality. Similarly, I may be bold enough to say that it is no longer the time to equate the funding of Calypso as mere shapefront sponsorship or having company logos on pitches and Calypso venues. Sponsorship must go beyond the promotion of brand awareness and putting a brand name in front of potential customers so as to maximize potential income. We must move beyond seeing our roles as limited and self-serving to a more holistic understanding of what Calypso as an art form is really about. It would be great if we could create avenues to establish a stakeholders forum consisting of the government, the Calypso Association, and the private sector. This forum will go a long way into bridging the gap between artists and the sponsor. This forum will develop strategic parameters as part of an overall comprehensive plan for Calypso in Dominica, as well as addressing other concerns, such as ways in which we can utilize our existing resources more efficiently. The notion of such a forum is important because the relationship between the Calypsonians, enthusiasts, and sponsors is not one of power play, but that of a necessary partnership between all stakeholders. It is based on mutual understanding and common desire of those who collectively wish to build bridges among stakeholders. It concerns the role of Calypso as celebrating social commentary and bringing out the best we have to offer. It is about seeing the art form as a crucial element in the healing of our nation. As a collaborator in this Hall of Fame induction ceremony, the UWI Global Campus understands that Calypso has major social, political, and economic significance in contemporary Dominican society. Therefore, as a university, we will continue to support the art form through our development of new programs and courses, as we believe out of Calypso always comes something new. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Casimir. Our featured speaker this evening is Mr. Elson Matthew, the Chief Cultural Officer. I now invite Mr. Matthew to come to the podium.
Thank you very much, Kimon. Let me acknowledge the presence of Her Excellency Mrs. Silvani Burton, President of the Commonwealth of Dominica, and Mr. Burton, Dr. Francis O'Severe, Principal and Pro-Vice Chancellor, UE Global Campus, and the management and staff of the UE Global Campus, Dominica, Dr. Kimon Joseph, Head of the UE Global Campus, Dominica, Mr. Alex Bruno, Chair, Dominica Calypso Hall of Fame, Ms. Trudy Christian, Officer in Charge, Dominica State College, and the staff of the Dominica State College, representatives of key partners of the Dominica Calypso Hall of Fame, Fortune Hotel, Signman, Dominica Calypso Association, Dominica State College, UE Global Campus, Miss Adicia Burton, Miss Dominica 2023, and Mr. Gael Trilogy, football joke, Gael Trilogy, John Baptist, Calypso Monarch 2023. Hall of Fame inductees for 2024, family members and friends of the inductees, media representatives, Calypso enthusiasts, viewers and listeners, pleasant good evening. I must say it's a pleasure to be here this evening to deliver the feature address for this edition of the Dominica Calypso Hall of Fame ceremony. Of course, you know my background, so regardless of whatever life throws at me, music will always be my foundation. And I know this was a deciding factor in me being here tonight, besides the office that I currently hold. So let's put some context to where we are today. The package that we now know as Calypso originated in Trinidad and Tobago and spread to the rest of the Caribbean, with rhythmic and oral roots that can be traced back to Africa. But you know, we as a people are good at fusion, adaptation, and putting our own signature or stamp on whatever we touch. That in itself is culture, evolution. We are aware of the Latin influence as it relates to the brass and the percussion, but we can delve even deeper. On the slave plantation, and I deliberately said the slave plantation and not the sugar plantation, songs were used both as means of communication when they didn't want the slave masters to understand, as a form of free expression in a time where that was probably the only freedom that they had, but also when they chose to make a mockery of their slave masters. Ironically, to this day, Calypso is used as a platform to push anti-establishment agendas, political expression, social commentary, satire, celebration, and everything else in between. I think you heard some of that in Trilogy's Calypso. Musically, we have seen the introduction of bouillon elements in Calypso as well, and I thank people like Cornell for that, further solidifying our Dominican stamp on the genre. Fittingly, tonight's inductees spread across the board. So I see musicians, performers, writers, publishers, engineers, promoters, managers, just name it. Normally, when we think of Calypso, we think of the competitors on stage because they are the ones who are crowned the winners. We fail to realize that there's a lot that goes into the final package that is delivered to the consumer. So I'd like to congratulate tonight's inductees. You have inspired a few generations, quite a few generations, and played your part in ensuring that Calypso remains vibrant in Dominica. But this doesn't mean that tonight is the culmination of your efforts. Tonight is recognition and encouragement to continue doing what you are doing and been doing for the past years. And in cases where your focus has shifted, find new ways to contribute. And I can use Hunter as an example for that. Not performing as much as he did before, but is now a writer. The fruits of your labor will be the preservation of the art form through the many young up-and-coming Calypsonians. And I don't need to say up-and-coming. Just look at our reigning monarch. That is not up-and-coming anymore. He's here. I must also make mention of the Leo Club of Dominica and their Junior Monarch Initiative, as well as the many school and community-based groups and organizations who have served as feeders to the big leagues for decades. Calypso has dominated Carnival for years. Often you would hear quotes like, Calypso is Carnival, or no Calypso, no Carnival. Times are changing, and sadly we have seen a decline in the level of patronage. There was a time where no promoter would dare to stage an event on the same night as the Calypso finals because they would be setting themselves up for failure. I repeat, times have changed. If we're going to uphold the art form, we must continue to find creative ways to make it appealing to the youth. Do not alienate them. Do not downplay their efforts. Instead, guide as opposed to dictating their paths. And we may just find a few hidden gems. Always be willing to share information, knowledge, tips, tricks, and ideas. Must touch on Freddie for that. Remember that you were afforded the opportunity to be creative in your time. If you can't get through them directly, coax them, fool them, find a way to get them interested. Use the platforms that they frequent. Don't depend on the blind statement that Calypso have it people. That will not work. Because if the incoming generation is not welcome, that is where it will end. Calypso will always remain an opportunity for the little man, not me, to share his or her voice, a platform that they would not have had otherwise. Now, I have spoken a lot about the future, probably on a night where the focus should be looking back on your achievements. But like I said earlier, your work is not done just yet. Let's pause, let's celebrate your accomplishments, and cheers to the inductees. We acknowledge your contributions to the art form, and we love and appreciate you and your efforts. But when you wake tomorrow, remember that the journey continues. Thank you, and congratulations once more.
Thank you very much to Mr. Urson Matthew, the Chief Cultural Officer, acting at the Cultural Division, and our keynote speaker for this evening. I just really want to just take a few seconds to just remind everyone of the sponsors for tonight's event. So it's the Dominica Calypso Hall of Fame, and that is being done in collaboration with the University of the West Indies Global Campus, the Dominica State College, Fortune Hotel and Dive Resort, Signman, and HHB Research and Company Limited. So we thank our sponsors and our collaborators. We also thank the Dominica Calypso Association, who endorses the event and works with the committee. Thank you very much. Now we have another musical interlude, and that will be done by Davidson, the Observer Victor. So I now invite Mr. Victor. It's Mr. Victor on the mic again.
I suspect before that session, you'll be composing most of the calypso in the second long song. Okay, so good evening again. I just want to take the opportunity to apologize on behalf of the Liberator, who was supposed to be doing the performance, but he notified me that, and Mr. Alex Bruno, that circumstances beyond his control kept him back and he was not able to make it, so I had to step in to do a performance. In as much as I'm wearing the Calypso cap now, I just want to recognize the treasurer of the Dominica Calypso Association, Mr. Nari Murphy. Trendsetter, that's one of the best treasurer, if not the best treasurer ever. The Calypso Association, fantastic work. I also have to recognize Miss Shirley, Lady S. Charles, who is also the current vice president. And this is the first, we have a lot of first things happening there, but this is the first ever female vice president of the Dominica Calypso Association. And I just want to recognize also one of the stalwarts of Calypso, not just as on stage, but also as a management, who also paved the way for persons like me to be here this afternoon, which is Kevin Williams, one of our longest past senior president. We can start the music now. I'll do the song of this. This song is in spite of it all. Excuse me, young man, where are you going? You think the grass is always greener on the other side. You painting a picture like his head you're living, and everywhere better than the nature eye. It's true politicians forming the fool and know how to divide and rule. But when it comes to empathy, values, and family, there's no place on this earth I would rather be. In spite of it all, in spite of it all, I'm not trading to nickel to live in Israel or Gaza. No way, in spite of it all, in spite of it all, I still love this land. One for each and each for all. For politics divide us
In Dominica, everyone knows their neighbor, and can still ask for a little salt and flour. We not like some other countries or race, where they have security and fairness all over the place. And as bad as some may play, hurricanes just make us kneel and pray. Cause deep down in our hearts, we were brought up like that. So we return from whence we depart. Oh Lord, in spite of it all, in spite of it all, I'm not trading Dominica for Antigua or Guada. No way, in spite of it all, in spite of it all, I stand ready to answer anytime she calls. Though in religion we may share different views, one thing still remain true. We must unite and congregate, and sympathize with his brother's pain, in spite of it all. Oh, in spite of it all. Oh yes, that's the call. Would you like to say it? Yes? I love this song. Something special about it. This one's there. In this country, no one dies of poverty. If you see a man eating in rubbish, be mad, not hungry. Man going barefoot, falling on the ground. No one here dies of starvation. But some boasting how they live in the United States. And when you check it out, they're really living in a state. Because it's not money that make people happy. It's peace of mind, true friends and family. Trust me, in spite of it all, in spite of it all, I'm not trading Dominica for England or America. No way, in spite of it all, in spite of it all, I still on this earth, one for each and each for all. Knowing religion, they share different views, but one thing still remains true. We just unite and congregate and sympathize with each other's faith, in spite of it all. Oh, in spite of it all. Oh yes, that's the call. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, Observer. Thank you so much for that performance. You see the diversity of it all. You know, we have one Calypsonian jumpy and getting us excited, and the other one making us, you know, mellow a bit. But in both, we are able to think. That is the beauty of Calypso. That is the wonder of it all. So thank you very much, Observer, for your presentation. And now it's time for the induction ceremony. So let me explain what will happen. So Dr. Francis Sevre, who is the Pro-Vice Chancellor and Principal at UWI Global Campus, will be reading the citations. And after each citation, Miss Adicia Burton, who is the reigning Miss Dominica, will come forward, but inductee, that is, the citation has been read for, will come forward, and Miss Adicia Burton will assist in handing you your award. Okay? And so I invite Dr. Francis Sevre to come to the microphone. He will be reading all the citations. Please clap for my boss. And I invite Mr. Adicia Burton to come more forward and sit in the seat that he has vacated.
Thank you very much, Dr. Joseph. Her Excellency, Mrs. Sylvanie Burton, President of the Commonwealth of Dominica, and Mr. Burton. Dr. Kimon Joseph, Head of the UWI Global Campus Dominica, as well as the management and staff of the UWI Global Campus Dominica. Mr. Alex Bruno, Chair, Dominica Calypso, CAISO Hall of Fame. Ms. Trudy Christian, Officer in Charge, Dominica State College, and staff of the Dominica State College. Representatives of key partners of the Dominica Calypso Hall of Fame, namely the Fortune Hotel, the Signman, Dominica Calypso Association, Dominica State College, UWI Global Campus. Mr. Ulson Matthew, Chief Cultural Officer and Keynote Speaker, Ms. Adicia Burton, Ms. Dominica 2023, and Mr. Gail Trilogy John Baptist, Calypso Monarch 2023, Hall of Fame inductees for 2024, family members and friends of inductees, media representatives, Calypso enthusiasts. I come very low down in the order in terms of batting, and so I can consider myself the night watchman. And speaking of which, I want to, and I think this is the perfect milieu for that, baptize you, observer, as the Shanda Paul of Dominica Calypso. Very consistent throughout the years. And I do remember attending Calypso shows from as long as I can remember, when they were in the Arawak House of Culture. I don't know whether any of you know that, but they were there at one time. Alex, don't act surprised, you're not a teenager. And so we remember the days when Observer had a very little voice. So, and he has remained consistent throughout, a very solid Calypsonian. But I want to begin the task that I have been set with much delight this afternoon. And the first inductee is the Dominica Broadcasting Corporation. So here is the citation for DBS. When DBS decided to ban Calypso, this gave Calypso its impetus of growth. It is a settled fact that when DBS bans a Calypso, that Calypso gets more popular. When DBS banned Spider's song, it did not only make the song more popular, rather this action was a cradle in which the Dominica Calypso Association, DCA, was born. DBS General Manager Cecil Joseph explains Calypso as a mixture of what happens in society placed in song. He also agrees that Calypso, because of what it was designed to do, has been the subject of much scrutiny. One particular moment and song would, however, create a moment in Dominica's Calypso history that changed the dynamics of Calypso. The year was 1978, and Roland Spider James, 1948 to 2005, sang a song called Sechay Ferdinand, Ferdinand's Coffin, for the Calypso competition of that year. Spider's Calypso showcased an issue involving Frampton and other players over the offer and unceremonious refusal of a coffin. That particular song played into the political fervor of the era. It was a time when the pendulum of political power was swinging, and Calypso was caught smack in the middle. Tense rivalry between Calypsonians and the Carnival Organizing Committee organizing body of Calypso at the time, ensued, and the Calypso business would change. In order to state the role that DBS radio has played in shaping the Calypso, it is important to place the discussion into context. Calypsonians traditionally address the ills of society, and opposition politicians favor calypsos which echo the anti-establishment sentiments. 1960s calypsos mainly focused on societal problems, but when Dominica's problems became more politically partisan, calypsos responded by becoming more political. Attorney at law and then leader of the Dominica Freedom Party, DFP, and the parliamentary opposition of Dominica, Eugenia Charles, assumed the role of legal strategist for the hard-hitting political calypsos during the 1970s. Eugenia Charles would ensure that calypsonians presented their work in a libel and slander-proof manner. DBS Radio, which was at the front line of COC's efforts to sanitize calypso, began querying certain lyrics and consequently banned Spider Song. The banning of Spider Song incensed calypsonians. Moves were immediately advanced to create an entity, the Dominica Calypso Association, DCA, to manage CAISO away and apart from the COC. The vexing vetting as a prerequisite for radio airplay had been ongoing, but when Spider Song was banned, tensions skyrocketed. This created a problem, as Ferdinand Frampton, the then assistant manager of DBS Radio, received the protection of the then ruling Dominica Labour Party, DLP, and the state. A decision was taken to ban Spider Song. Cecil Joseph is the latest in a string of managers who presided over DBS's management of Calypso, and he lamented that the role of the station is to promote Dominica's culture while protecting the integrity of each Dominican. Joseph further suggested that the radio has a role to play in projecting fair play in a socially and politically conscious way. So, when political tensions arise, the station has to become more conscious and aware of its responsibility. Joseph stressed that it is the actions of DBS which has actually given Calypso its foundation, and this appears to be in sync with founding members of the DCA. Those tensions, of course, extended from the political dynamics of the mid to late 70s. As for its actual foray into the coverage of Calypso, Joseph explains that DBS began covering Calypso from 1968, before the broadcast entity was named DBS. In those 56 years of Calypso coverage, Joseph clarifies, a number of trends were observed. The 1960s Calypsos marked the evolution of Calypso consciousness. The 1970s was a time when Calypsos with strong community conciseness emerged. During the 1980s, songs of a more socio-political nature were common. The 1990s ushered in calypsos which were more politically lethal. The decade of 2000 mainly focused on government actions and or inactions. Joseph argued that each period required a different sort of management approach, and that successive managers basically responded to society's shield against lethal sting of Calypso and the allure of Calypso practitioners. The national broadcaster performs the unenviable role of custodians of the nation's image, so there are times when Calypso lyrics may have been questioned. That is according to Cecil Joseph, who admits that when calypsos were targeted at the station's manager, the interplay became even more intriguing. From Jeff Charles to Cecil Joseph, DBS managers heard the same arguments over time. Joseph, who is one of the longest-serving managers, explained that the issue over the coverage of Calypso is like a recurring decimal, and he took the liberty to praise all the leaders of the proud national broadcaster. Jeff Charles, Dennis Joseph, Gordon Henderson, Orrin Bully, Alvin Knight, Myrtle Solomon, John Barnett Defoe, Charles James, Ferdinand Frampton, Dennis Joseph for second stint, Marriott Warrington, Brian Mead, and Cecil Joseph himself. We all did what was necessary in our respective era to build a society in a responsible way, Joseph maintained. In the case of the DBS radio of now, we invested in the coverage of more Calypso shows than any other time in the art form's history. Joseph stated that DBS has carried the proceedings of all 10s live from the 1990s. The station began live coverage of the Calypso eliminations in 2005. DBS developed a positive relationship with the DCA over the better part of 2 decades. It sponsors Calypso to the tune of over 7K in airtime each year for the multiple years, has hosted a special Calypso show on Monday evenings in and out of season, and the station has not refused to air Calypsos save for 1 or 2 songs over the last decade or more. The recordings of the older Calypsos are probably the biggest treasure which DBS has given to Calypso fans. Because had it not been for DBS, the works of Calypsonians like Mighty Beggy, Spark, Everlasting, Everno Solo, Idol, and the other greats would have not been available. DBS has secured a space for Calypso's memory to live on. And Joseph believes that when the worth to Calypso of the national broadcaster is actually realized, pundits and skeptics alike would have to agree that not only did DBS promote Calypso, but they helped preserve, market, and save it. And yes, it was the banning of Calypso which gave Calypso its greatest prize, the formation of the Dominica Calypso Association. This has allowed for the business of Calypso to be managed by Calypsonians. Dominica Calypso is unique in that sense, being about the only regional Calypso body where Calypsonians manage their own affairs, not to mention that the DCA has the only Calypso house in the world. This may not have happened if DBS did not ban Sichai Ferdinand. It is against the foregoing backdrop that on this 23rd day of January 2024, the Dominica Calypso Kaiso Hall of Fame, the University of the West Indies Global Campus Dominica, the Dominica State College, and the Signman induct with a sense of profound pride, DBS Radio into the Dominica Calypso Kaiso Hall of Fame. Citation for McCarthy Marie. Dominicans love the music made in Dominica more than other country citizens liking for music produced in their country. A quote by McCarthy Marie. McCarthy Marie declares that Calypso is a poor man's radio. He elaborated that the Calypso idiom weaves together stories about masters and slaves, then colonialists, the governors who run society. And it was basically the African and the other person's way of interjecting his points of view into the social dialogue. Marie made a deliberate effort to connect Calypso to its grounding in Africa and extend it into modern societies, arguing that the evolving art of Calypso needs to be recorded, and its contribution as a recording engineer was sparked by this consideration. Murray is philosophical in his view of Calypso. He sees Calypso from a different set of eyes than others. For Murray, Calypso is more than a practice. It is part of the people's cultural way of life and a pillar of Afro-Caribbean traditions. Murray's understanding of the intellectual nature of music and Calypso, coupled with his commitment to preserving the same, propelled his passion for recording Calypsos. However, it was not Calypso alone that Murray recorded as his mark-off studios. According to Murray, Calypso is art, and art is entertaining. So his mark-off recording studios had an entertaining element to its approach of documenting music. The 1980 Calypso was around the corner, and my friend Gordon Henderson, then general manager of DBS Radio, came up with an idea to record special content for the carnival. The first recording, which was done at Markov Studios, was Chocolate County Steel Band. This recording was done live from the Barnyard, and I can remember one of the songs they recorded was Donna Summer's She Works Hard for the Money, So You Better Treat Her Right. That's according to Marie, who took great pride in the outcome of this recording. Murray admits that his studio was the first, though Ken Robinson's Nature Island Studios was more complete with commercial recording capacity fixed in a building, a fact that Richards also shared with the DCK HF research team. Murray experimented with recording mobile content, but would later become an all-rounder. Markov Studios went on to create recordings for several cultural traditional groups. Primarily, Markov Studios took off to record content for radio airplay. Next on Markov's agenda was the recording of Calypsos. Murray remembered capturing live Calypsos at the New Grotto with the Swinging Stars Band. In collaboration with Lennox Radigan Roy, he undertook this project and was immediately impressed with Jammer B, Jocelyn Charles, and the NC, Norman Cyril. That's when we recorded NC's song, Humble Servant, which proved quite popular. The end product of this recording was Dominica's first commercial compilation cassette of about 8 to 10 songs. Murray was asked about the mysterious fire at the old grotto, and his response was, with a generous chuckle, "Well, up to now, nobody knows. And since I wasn't in the police force, I did not do the investigation. So my knowledge is like everybody else's." Murray, however, concedes that it was related to the political affairs of May 1979. Markov Studios recorded the first live Jinping music, the Girdell Jinping Band. WCK's first album, Mopsy One More Sway, the Roots, Stems and Branches RSB Band, the first Serenade Band, Bob Chesterfield Seraphim, Traddy Bell, Gregory Washla, Rabes, Ophelia, Spider, General Natty, Waxup, Hunter, Observer, and Ventura are among the notable recordings produced by Markov Studios. Several other Calypsonians walked through the doors of Markov Studio, especially to escape paying the recording fees at the other existing commercial studios. Murray joked that the guys juggled between Ken and I. When they did not want to pay Ken, they came to me, and when they wanted to escape paying me, they went to Ken. Murray explained that this recording of Calypso was more or less a charitable enterprise, but the investment was worth it. 40 years on, Murray reminisces on his accomplishments with pride. With 5,000 recording hours, 2,000 recorded songs, 30 plus albums, and the same number of Calypsonians, arrangement of key musical expressions, the distribution of music, procurement of intellectual property for and on behalf of Calypsonians, providing a platform for the creative expression of the Calypso art, his business mentorship of musicians, and the overall improvement of the quality of packaging of the art makes Murray a man behind an undisputed Kaiso institution, Markov Studios. McCarthy Murray, veteran music producer, consultant engineer, intellectual property expert and economist, recording and sound engineer, has blazed a trail for others to follow in the recording business and has certainly shown a light on the future. It is against the foregoing backdrop that on this 23rd day of January 2024, the University of the West Indies, Global Campus Dominica, the Dominica State College, and the Signman induct with a sense of profound pride McCarthy Murray into the Dominica Calypso Kaiso Hall of Fame. Citation for Fred Nicholas. We are on the threshold of a new time. I'm seeing Calypso won't be as big in time. It won't be as big. A quote from Fred Nicholas. When Freddie was asked the question, what is Calypso? He replied, Calypso is telling the story or situation that you have inside of you that you'd like to share with the people, which is done in a musical way. Freddie would know a thing or two about music because he has played music with several groups over the years. Otravis, Smoke, Naked Feet Part 2, Emphasis, Wafrikai, Book of Exile, Billowmen, Swinging Stars, Freddie and Friends, Ophelia's All Stars, Freddie Bird and others, FBO, Penelec, Arrow's Multinational Force, Julian Freddie, Case 109, Freddie Julie Mate and Bellamy Bird, Calypso All Stars, and I-Tribe are just a few groups that Freddie has been featured with. Freddie has experimented with almost every musical genre: funk, soul, dub, rap steady, jazz, zouk, rock, R&B, reggae, blues, and calypso, just to name a few. But it is the calypso which has earned Freddie's attention for the longest continuous period of time thus far. This will be highlighted in the latter stage of the citation, but please take Freddie's amazing musical journey with us. A journey which essentially is his life's story. One of Freddie's mottos is to discover new worlds, you have to lose yourself. And this has characterized Freddie's journey through life and music. Freddie's very first attempt at losing himself was when, at the ripe old age of 16, he boarded the Federal Maple, destined for new musical discoveries in Grenada. Freddie explained that while the Grenada experience was fine, he soon became occupied with thoughts of home. So, Freddie would return to Dominica, where he re-immersed himself in the rich 1970s musical tapestry of the island. As the 1970s began giving way to the 1980s, and the intensity of Calypso musical waned, Freddie began to pay closer attention to calypso. He eventually took up a gig with the Swinging Stars Orchestra in 1982, where he treated calypso with his interpretive bass line. He spent 1 year with Swinging Stars, during which time the band provided musical accompaniment for the mighty Arrow. Freddie said calmly, as it was not a big deal, Arrow asked me to join his band after the jam, but he did not want to deprive Norman of his bass man. Norman was the manager, of course, of the Swinging Stars. So the offer grew cold. Freddie migrated to Canada following his Swinging Stars stint, and again he was in search of new discoveries. Quite interesting, Freddie remarked, Arrow tracked me down in Canada and called me on the phone asking him to join his band. Freddie said that Arrow had renewed interest now that he was a free musical agent, meaning he was not signed up with a major band. Of course, Freddie was no longer with Swinging Stars, so this was Arrow's opportunity to finally have Freddie join him. Freddie's membership in Arrow's multinational force was crystallized in 1984. Between 1984 and 1991, Freddie traveled the world, creating musical moments with Arrow. However, like it was before, Freddie needed something new. It was his view that Arrow had made the complete revolution around the circle of music, and he was not willing to repeat the same cycle. I was also tired of being away from home, Freddie remarked. People were forgetting who I was, so I left Arrow and returned home. Calypso was waiting, and Freddie jumped into what he explained as the intricate musical packaging of Calypso. He's a craftsman of music fillers and lively harmonic moods and notes. If at all there were to be an Einstein of Calypso, Freddie would have to be considered as a candidate because of how he imagines music. This is what Freddie brought to the recording of Calypso. All of himself with a generous twist of vivaciousness. As to when Freddie began recording Calypso, the moment is not quite clear, but Fred vividly remembers being the one who created Ventura's musical scores for band practice. That would have been around 1986-87. According to Freddie, Before this, Calypsonians would appear for band practice without proper scores and had to endure agonizingly lengthy rehearsal times. Freddie believes in creating moments. And with that said, his first actual recording moment happened in the mid to late 90s, early 20s. One of the notable first complete recordings to emerge from Freddie's Home Alone recording studio was Alex King Powell Bruno's Osama Say. This song went on to win Dominica's Road March title for 2001. Freddie would go on to record numerous calypsos, including most of King Dice's songs. In fact, Freddie boasts that he has recorded songs for every Calypsonian, with the exception of just a few. Freddie is known as a recording engineer who cut down the length of musical band intro, introduced longer horn phases, gave calypso arrangements what was in his head and heart, and packed each track with boundless emotions. In reminiscing on the present calypso recording culture, Freddie asserts that technology has made recordings more practical, but modernization has robbed recording from the moment, which can only be experienced when people come together for in-person musical communes. Fred was asked to ponder on the future of calypso, and he said that right now things are visual. Calypso is visual. People know calypso, they know the songs because they're played on the radio. So calypsonians need to work harder on creating special live moments. Freddie admits that calypso may experience a slide if more is not done very quickly to avert this eventuality. Fred Nicholas is a calypso, calypso, and soca music pioneer, bassist, songwriter, arranger, composer, producer, musical director, maestro, and recording engineer. He has given music all of himself, and Fred is all about music, with the calypso genre being particularly close to his heart. It is against the foregoing backdrop that on this 23rd day of January 2024, the University of the West Indies opened Global Campus Dominica, the Dominica State College, and the sign man induct for sense of profound pride, Fred Nicholas, into the Dominica Calypso Hall of Fame. Citation for Cornell Phillip. Gradually, we started to put the rhythmic elements, the bouillon, into the calypso. A quotation from Cornell Phillip. Calypso is an expression of society. That is according to Cornell Phillip. And if Cornell says so, it is so. As for the documentation of calypso, Cornell posits that music recording is significant, but there is an element in recording that is lost in modern times. Cornell also claims responsibility for changing the calypso, gradually at first and rapidly, Hunter's Carib Bacchanal in 1998. These three theses, calypso as an expression of society, the changing values of recording the calypso, and the changing of calypso's rhythmic beat, represent the imprint of Cornell's artistry and his intellectual injection into the traditions and culture of Dominica. But who is Cornell? Well, Cornell can be described as a near-complete professional artist who has made the recreation of musical idioms his raison d'etre. Cornell is an unmistakable name when it comes to musical creations, not just in Dominica, but throughout the world. Thanks to Cornell and WCK, Buyo has created a niche for Dominica in global music. In fact, Cornell joked that Buyo saved Calypso. Did it? Let us examine the veracity of the preceding statement. Calypso music, like other musical genres, is built on and supported by a framework of beats. Because Calypso is traditional in nature, there is room for evolution of the music. And when music changes, it is a beat that drives that change. The beat maker, Cornell, argues that if Calypso did not change, this could render a music static, folkloric art. Cornell further stated that Calypso had changed or evolved from its traditional base to fusion variation like Calypso of the 1970s, Zouk of the 1980s, and Buyo of the 1990s. Cornell sees the change of Calypso beat as natural and inevitable, and his client, Derek Hunter St. Rose, who is sharing this induction moment with Cornell, vowed that he went to Cornell with an idea for a song in 1990. Cornell believes that there is much to be gained in the commercialization of traditional art, but such commercialization should not be overdone. This definition connects with Cornell's framing of Buyo, which is the modernization of the traditional rhythm of Dominica. It is for this reason that Cornell, along with his friend Eddie Angol, established Imperial Publishing in 1995 to create his own contribution, to build his own legacy. Calypso needing what Cornell gave it, and 23 plus crowns later, Cornell still remains driven. But Cornell did not only record Calypso and Buyo. He produced gospel music, end time singers, Jerry Lloyd, and Visionaires. He produced Musica Nu, 1, 2, 3, and 4. He had a self-produced album called Interpretations in 2010, as well as other recordings. Cornell agrees with the saying that whatever is worth doing at all is worth doing well. A quote from Philip Stanhope, 4th Earl of Chesterfield. And this is the force behind his recording philosophy. As for profitability, Cornell and Imperial have been able to survive on the business, but he thinks that more needs to be learned about the business in order that artists reap just rewards for their efforts. Cornell sees the neglect of the intellectual value in music as a mistake which plagues too many Dominican artists, and hopes for changes in attitudes where this is concerned. On the eve of his 30th year, Imperial Publishing continues to lead the way in music recordings. But like Freddie, Cornell believes that technology has somewhat diminished the human element in that in-person energy is absent from recording music. When asked about regrets, Cornell stated that sometimes it is depressing that you put so much work in compared to what you get out. He also said that I worked one place other than music, and it was at Campbell's. So music is the only thing Cornell really knows. As for the future of Calypso, Cornell admits that the art is eternal, but people must make it so. He believes that change should continue to take place in the music in a timely manner. If musical changes are done well, the fluidity of music remains guaranteed to reach emerging generations. In doubling down on his claim that Buyo saved Calypso, Cornell did a case study on Trinidad Calypso and says, look at Trinidad Calypso, which is what we patterned our Calypso on before. Where is Trinidad Calypso now? Look at any other island. Do they have a big Calypso industry? No, they don't. The biggest thing in Dominica still for the carnival is the Calypso. Why is that? Because it has similarities to Buyo in there. I can assure you, Buyo saved Calypso. Cornell declared that the addition of popular elements to traditional music is an inevitable act in modern music creation. Cornell Phillip is a musical pioneer and creator, lyricist, producer, arranger, Kaiso Industries collaborator, Kaiso Creole rhythm variation innovator, and visionary musical practitioner. A business creator with a zest for creativity and newness, who learned from preceding recording studios and creations. For all his achievements, Cornell insists that Ken has a major part to play in my success. Humility shines on Cornell's success. It is against the backdrop, the foregoing backdrop, that on this 23rd day of January 2024, the University of the West Indies Global Campus, Dominica, the Dominica State College, and the signed man induct with a sense of profound pride, Cornell Phillip into the Dominica Calypso Council Hall of Fame. Citation for Ken Robinson. I got into the recording business out of a necessity. Capture live musical moments for posterity. Ken Robinson's quote. Calypso was a sing tonight and forget tomorrow art form before the advent of studio. This was Ken Robinson's reaction to the query, what is Calypso? Ken Robinson created Nature Island Studios, NIS, in 1982 as a direct response to what he saw at the time as a need to save foreign exchange. Ken, who became a member of the Dominica Folk Singers in 1969, lamented that the group had to travel overseas to record their music. Ken felt that a recording enterprise was needed to capture the indigenous musical expressions. His initial interest was not driven by commercial benefits. Instead, Ken approached the recording business as a labor of love. His love for cultural music and a deep-rooted quest to preserve it. Burdened with the reality of having traveled to Trinidad and Tobago and Barbados in 1970 and 1972, respectively, to record the Dominica Folk Singers, Ken was adamant to fulfill that local music recording need. Along the way, Ken captured varied cultural arts. In 1978, he teamed up with cultural aficionado Oren Bully of blessed memory to produce a movie, Jesus Christ Superstar. Between 1980 and 1986, Ken created several video productions, including the real-time capturing of Queen and Calypso shows and Carnival Street parades. Ken's productions accounted for 100% of local content which was broadcast on Mapi TV in the heydays of Dominican television. Ken is not satisfied with recording content. He believes in capturing cultural moments. Ken has also recorded cultural groups, school groups, the Dominica Folk Singers, and Dominica National Chorale, Pebush Cultural Group, Cicero Singers, multiple gospel artists, and groups including Jerry Lloyd and End Time Singers. NIS is also credited for having recorded 5 albums for the indomitable Midnight Groovers, the Swinging Stars, WCK, Bells Combo, and more. Ken has also recorded the Julian Jinping Band. In between all of this, Ken was also able to capture Calypso music. He said that he recorded Dominican, every Calypso in Dominica, every Calypsonian. Ken believes that Calypso music was lost in the moment, and he wanted to capture those moments for posterity. Ken recorded Calypsonians spanning 2 generations: the Spider, Hunter, Ghost, Provoker, Picky, the man himself, Observer, the Wizard, Prince Oni, Senator, Scrunter, the NC, Rabbit, Tornado, Hurricane, Young Bull, Sister May, Mutai, Smokey, Super L, and others, too numerous to mention. Ken is a recording all-rounder. He is a former bass player, past member of the Dominican Folk Tradition Fraternity, a pioneering music producer, publisher, promoter, and distributor. He's an archivist, cultural music activist, and recording engineer with an unblemished record of service to Dominica's cultural art. Ken began the evolution of Dominica's musical recording and presided over its transformation. Speaking of transformation, Ken is now a born-again Christian. And with that, he has refocused his recording business and interest. His Nature Island Studios has evolved into the National Institute for Praise Production, NIPP. It can thus be said that Ken and NIS have turned a leaf, but his prior works remain a testimony and lasting legacy of his contribution to his people and his country. Ken was recognized with the Golden Drum Awards by the National Cultural Council of the Cultural Division of Dominica and Dominica's Cicero Award. Calypso had to follow suit. It is against the foregoing backdrop that on this 23rd day of January 2024, the University of West Indies Global Campus Dominica, Dominica State College, and the Steinman induct, with a sense of profound pride, Ken Robinson into the Dominica Calypso Council. Citation for Derek Hunter St. Cruz. I was looking at performing, touring of course, representing my country, and just being a frontman for the state. A quotation by Derek St. Cruz. Calypso is a composition of the daily life we live. This is Derek Hunter St. Cruz, his definition of Calypso. With a competitive calypso lifespan extending over 3 decades, Hunter is one of the more celebrated Dominican artists. But how did it all begin for Hunter? What created the spark? In response to these questions, Hunter remarked, by just listening to the greats, Sparrow, Gypsy, Baron, you have guys from Antigua, Short Shirt, Swallow. So I used to listen to a lot of calypso and soca music. Growing up in the countryside, Hunter explained, my household always had singing, but it appears that it was more than just music, which spurred Hunter on to sing. By his own confession, Hunter, from time to time, experienced severe stress during his youthful years, and he avows that music was one of the avenues he resorted to in order to assuage the stress that weighed heavily on his shoulders and mind. This would later translate into calypso as a liberating sanctuary. Amidst it all, Hunter was a man on a mission. He was fixated on doing calypso right. Hunter saw himself as a difference maker, because according to him, he wanted to do the business like the best in the business, the mighty Sparrow. Hunter yearned to do calypso on a commercial level, and he regarded the Calypso Monarch competition as a perfect platform for attaining that goal. Hunter asserted that his intention was to use the local competition as leverage. I would always be part of that, but beyond that, I wrote songs that would take me years through, songs that would never die, songs that would live on. Hunter's commercial quest needed to be grounded, and the time had arrived for him to take a stand. That year was 1987, and young Derek braved the storm to venture on the Calypso stage at the Northern Calypso contest. In those days, Calypso was a huge business in Portsmouth, for over 40 Calypsonians competing for the North Calypso monarchy. Hunter was one of those, and he did not win. He competed again in 1988, and though he had no place among the top winners, Miku, the Grandmaster of Portsmouth Calypso, spotted his talent and advised him to go national. Shortly afterwards, Hunter moved to Roseau and joined the Commonwealth of Dominica Police Service in 1990. Keeping his eyes on the prize and staying true to form, Officer St. Rose resisted the Calypso urge throughout the probationary period of his employment. As soon as he graduated to a full police officer, however, Derek St. Rose became a full-time Calypsonian, the Hunter. It was 1992 when St. Rose took part in the National Independence Calypso competition. He would later enter the Calypso Monarch contest in 1993. Hunter had a fascinating 3 decades of Calypso, with small breaks in between. He recessed from Calypso competition in 2020. Through it all, Hunter thrilled local, regional, and international audiences with his effervescent stage presence and captivating calypsos. His 1998 song, Carry Bacchanal, earned him much reputation, as Hunter went on to win the Monarch title, Road March, and Soca Monarch that same year. One of Dominica Calypso anthems, One Flag, is arguably one of Hunter's most celebrated songs. And he has Patrick John, deceased former Prime Minister and Hall of Fame inductee, to thank for that. John also wrote Shake and Wine, Gentler, Kinder Nation, 21, Guilty, Never Give Up. Other notable songs and writers who have contributed to Hunter's career are Gregory Rabes, Soca on the Net, Bernard Frampton, Cry for Paro, and Americally Wrong, Arnold Trini Ferguson, Always Together, Holding You, For the Good of All Mankind, Santa, and Christmas Cheer. Hunter is a quintessential Calypso campaigner. He featured with Scrunter on Brotherly Brothers,
He has toured 90% of the Caribbean, performed in multiple US states and cities, Canada, England, Paris, Dubai, the US and British Virgin Islands, Germany, and elsewhere. He represented Dominica at the Trinidad and Tobago Soca Monarch competition. He was awarded the Golden Drum and Sister Awards by the government of Dominica, and his name is conspicuously displayed on Dominica's Calypso landscape. With 3 Calypso Monarch crowns, 1998, 2000, 2007, 4 Soca Monarch titles, 1 Road March crown, 2 Stardom Calypso Monarch championships, and over 120 songs, multiple albums, and hundreds of thousands of traveled miles, Derek Hunter sent blues, Calypso, Road March, and Soca Monarch, recording artist, lyricist, composer, producer, entertainer, Calypso administrator, and Calypso music exporter, is one of Dominica's most decorated entertainment personalities. It is against the backdrop of the foregoing that on this 23rd day of January 2024, the University of the West Indies Global Campus, Dominica State College, and the sign man induct with a sense of profound pride, Derek Hunter St.
My profound congratulations to all the inductees. Let's give them a round of Dominica Broadcasting Corporation, DBS Radio, Mr. McCarthy Marie, Mr. Freddie Nicholas, Mr. Cornell Fingers Phibb, Mr. Ken Robinson, and Mr. Derek G. Hunter St. Louis. Principal and Pro-Vice Chancellor of the UWI Global Campus for reading those citations for us, as well as Ms. Adicia Burton. Miss Dominica 2023 was assisted with the presentation of the awards. Thank you very much to the both of you. It is soon time for us to have the vote of thanks, but before I do, I asked the person to come forward to do that. I would just like to really just thank all the sponsors who have come on board and been with us throughout the planning of this event. The Dominica Calypso Hall of Fame induction ceremonies, a product of the Dominica Calypso Hall of Fame, the University of the West Indies Global Campus, the Dominica State College, the Signman and Fortune Hotel and Dive Resorts. And we are also assisted by HHB Witches, so I'm very grateful for all collaborators this evening. I call on Mr. Alex Bruno, who really had the brain for creating this organization that would really honor our Calypso contributors. And I know he likes to stay away in the background a lot, but he's not staying away in the background. I told him he was giving the vote of thanks. And if any of you know me and you know me well, when I tell someone that we're doing a speaking assignment, they're doing a speaking assignment. So I would like to welcome Mr. Alex Bruno, who is the chair of the Dominica Calypso Hall of Fame, to be
Dr. Joseph, protocol has been established. I'm happy to be here. I am a shy person. Most people don't believe that, but I am really shy. I put on a public persona when I have to, but in my really personal self, I am very quiet. So I begged my dear friend not to call me here today, and she called me, so I have to be here. So thanks. Let me thank the Excellencies for being here. And I must say the Office of the President has been represented here at every function of the Hall of Fame. And Your Excellency, it's so good to have you here. You're a wonderful husband. And The next person I'm going to thank is Edgar Hunter, who, when the idea came to me, I went to him. He's a brother that I love, like he's like a brother, a real brother. And he embraced the idea with me. We contacted Ozzy and Pembo as our two first trustees, and the Hall of Fame got on the way. Ras Kelly was, I think, president at the time, and Ras Kelly gave massive support. So thank you, Edgar. Dr. Severin, at UWI, again, when we went to him because of the work that he does, and is still doing, and what UWI represents in terms of academia and continuity institutions, we felt that it would be nice to partner with a little institution, and Dr. Severin was eager to jump on board. He did so. Edgar, again, from the Dominica College, and Dr. Peters came on board to assist Rohim, the sign man from very early on at Fort Young Hotel. Fort Young Hotel is the home of the Hall of Fame. We don't go anywhere. I think moving forward, we want to speak to Sammy, well, which is offshore, who is in sales, and she has transitioned and doing very well at it. We would want to speak about a wall or Hall of Fame placement at the Fort Young or somewhere of the establishments in collaboration with the DCA and the Simon as well. So it could be a wall somewhere at Fort Young that represents this wonderful honor. So we'll speak about that. But Fort Young has been with us from inception, and I don't think we have plans to move anywhere anytime soon. So thanks again, Mrs. Doctor, and for sorry, Mrs. Pizza. Pizza is going to be angry for good reasons. All right. And everyone else who have contributed in one way or the other, I say thank you. I don't want to keep you very long. I see some wonderful focused dinner out there. So a little misrepresentation, but I see some sandwich and juice and water. So guys, in spite of it all, it doesn't seem as if everybody broke for real. Anyway, no. So one more thing I want to say before I leave is that we announced Joseph a book launch that I'll be having at the UWI, which is scheduled for tomorrow. Because of logistics and other reasons, we want to postpone it until Friday at 3 o'clock. It's a busy day, but we expect it to be dry. We invite everybody here and others to join us at University of West Indies at Emerson Road for this event. That's all. House, Charles, you're not here as a party leader, you're here as my friend, so I cannot recognize you as a team leader. So you're here as my friend. Enjoy yourself, and everyone else here. I think I spoke about Rascal before. This trendsetter, a brother that I love, and the inductees. I mean, you guys, we had conversations before, and you know who you are recommending for inductions the next time around. I need to say that, guys. We do not honor people. We just facilitate the process, and it is the inductees who suggest who should be inducted. So the first group said, the second group said, the third group, and these guys have put some names. They gave me 13 names, the most names ever given by any group. And I'm not too sure why they did that to us. But we're going to have a tough time to cut it down to 5 or 6. 6? We'll see how it goes. Thank you all. Let's enjoy the rest of the event. Ms. Joseph has the last say, Dr. Joseph. And I suspect still that music will be played sometime.
So thank you very much to Mr. Bruno. We want to acknowledge the participation and commitment of Ms. Jody Johnson, our flautist, who played for us this evening, the musical invocation. I also want to thank Mr. Gael Trilogy John Baptist, who did a musical interlude for us, as well as Davidson the Observer Victor. Thank you very much to all of you for performing for us this evening. And now, as is my job, to thank the person who gave the vote of thanks and give the last order of thanks and all that thanks, I'm just very grateful that we had a fantastic evening. I do say it was a wonderful time. I enjoyed being with you this evening and being part of history for these 5 wonderful men and an institution who will recognize this evening. We have or recessional music by Pan in Harmony. I ask you to stay and enjoy that while you enjoy some of the refreshments that have been provided for us as well. As Alex said, his book, Jamie Jr. Unedited, will be launched at UWI at 3 p.m. on Friday. This event is open to all. Thank you very much. Pan in Harmony, take it away.
Dominica Calypso, Hall of Fame, in collaboration with the UWI Global Campus Dominica, Dominica State College, Fortion, and DIVE results the assignment. Thank you for celebrating. This was the Calypso Hall of Fame brought to you once again by Emonews and Emonews. We would like to thank everyone for tuning in and joining with us this evening, and we would also love to congratulate each and every one of the recipients who made this Dominica Calypso Association Hall of Fame. So with this being said, we would like once again to thank you for joining this evening. Thank you.
Than the nature isle is true politicians forming the fool and know how to divide and rule. But when it comes to empathy, values, and the family, there's no place on this earth I would rather be. In spite of it all, in spite of it all, I'm not trading Dominica to live in Israel or Gaza. No way. In spite of it all, in spite of it all, I still love this land. One for each and each for all. The politics divide us red and blue. One thing still remains true. We does unite and congregate and sympathize with each other's fate. In spite of it all, in spite of it all, so the ball, ba-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da. Na-na-day, na-na-day, na-na-na-na, whoa, whoa. In Dominica, everyone knows their neighbor and can still ask for a little salt and flour. We're not like some other countries or race, and they have security and fence all over the place. And as bad as some may play, hurricane does make us kneel and pray. 'Cause deep down in our hearts, we were brought up like that. So we return from whence we depart. Oh Lord, in spite of it all, in spite of it all, I'm not trading Dominica to live in Ukraine or Russia. No way. In spite of it all, in spite of it all, I stand ready to answer anytime she calls. Though in religion we may share different view, one thing still remains true. We does unite and congregate and sympathize with each other's fate. In spite of it all, in spite of it all, that's the call. Ba-da-da-da, da-da-da-da.